Hi, this is Munson with Munson Music. I'm going to talk about how you could strum along with Blueberry Hill by Fats Domino. And we're going to end up capoing this on 4th fret to match the recording. But it starts out with this cool arpeggio around a G major chord. When we play G major, first finger goes to the A on the 2nd fret, second finger on the low E string 3rd fret, and third finger on the high E string 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now, through the song, you may also want to think about putting the 3rd finger on the B string 3rd, pinky on the high E string 3rd, kind of playing the G major that way. And you'll kind of hear this cool little arpeggio at the very beginning where you kind of play the low E string twice, and then we go A string, and then low E, and then A, and then D, and then A, and then D, kind of around that chord, kind of that 3, 2, 3, 2, 0, 2, 0. And then we go to 2nd fret on the D string as kind of an arrival point on a C major chord. And the way you play C major, first finger goes to the B string on the 1st fret, second finger on the D string 2nd fret, and third finger on the A string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now you may also want to think about lifting off the 1st finger and making that a C major 7, could be very cool. Or adding in the pinky on the B string on the 3rd fret and making it a C major 9. Or another way to play C major 9 is to do first finger on the D string 2nd, second finger on the A string 3rd, third finger on the B string 3rd, and the pinky on the high E string 3rd. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major 9, so you may want to think about that for your C chords too. And then from the C we go back to G major, and then we kind of have a big hit on a G where you may want to do it down. Now where the rhythm picks up on the intro though, there's a couple different strummings you may want to think about. The tune's in what's called 12/8 time, which means you're kind of feeling things in triplets 4 times. Kind of a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 on most of the chords. So you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 kind of idea. But you could round that out to a 4/4, and one of my favorite 4/4 strum patterns is down, down, up, up, down, up. So we took the G and just tried that a lot. You'd have down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So you want to feel things in the 4, or you could kind of feel the things in kind of that triplet idea. And you could do that with downs, or if you're digging on down ups, you could do down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, kind of for each measure. So through that intro, you'd have that 3, 3, 2, 3, 2, 0, 2, 0, and then we C. Or you could round out to down, down, up, down, and then the G, and then kind of a big hit on the G chord. And then from there, then we'll be going into our verse part. And our verse, we start on the C major, and then we do another C, and then we go back to G, and then we do another G, and then we go to a D major chord. When we play D major, first finger goes to the G on the 2nd fret, second finger on the high E 2nd fret, and third finger on the B string 3rd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D major chord, and it sounds really happy. Now you may also want to think about using a D7 through the song. And then when you play D7, first finger goes to the B on the 1st fret, second finger on the G string 2nd fret, and third finger on the high E 2nd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D7 chord. And if you want to think about that for the Ds, or on either one of those chords, actually it can be kind of cool to lift off the third finger, for instance, on the D7 and make that a D7 sus. Or you can kind of put the D7 down and kind of add in the pinky on the high E3rd, make that kind of a D7 sus. Or you could even take the regular D shape and kind of lift off the first finger for a D sus2, or the pinky can kind of get added in on the high E for a D sus. Kind of say some things around the D or the D7 chord if you're kind of interested in that. And then from the D, we'd be going back to our G major chord and then doing another G major. Through our main verse form, we got kind of that C, take those 2 rhythm ideas and kind of mix them up. And then we end up kind of repeating that with a little variation, and then we go into our bridge part. And our bridge starts on G major, and then you can kind of hear where the horns almost want to go to C major. And then we go back to G major, and then you may want to go to a G7 chord. When we play G7, first finger goes to the high on the 1st fret, second finger on the A string 2nd fret, third finger on the low E string 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G7 chord or a G Domino 7. It sounds really nasty, and it kind of messes things up. It can almost lead into a B minor chord when we play B minor. First finger goes across the entire second fret, and we'll talk about an easier way to play this too. But then you put second finger on the B string third, third finger on the D string fourth, and the pinky on the G string fourth. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a B minor chord, and it sounds really sad. Now you may also want to think about lifting off the pinky and making that a B minor 7. Or another way to play B minor 7 is to do first finger on the A string second, second finger on the G string second, and third finger on the high E second fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that's another way you can play your B minor 7. Or you could do the first finger on the A string second, second finger on the G string second, and take the third finger and go to the B third, pinky on the high E third, and use that for your B minor. And then you'll kind of hear this cool little hit from the B minor to an F sharp major chord. Now you could kind of do that as the second fret bar, second finger on the G string second fret, third finger on the low E string, or on the A string on the fourth fret, and the pinky on the D string on the fourth fret. So it looks like the B minor, but now you're one string off with the second, third, and fourth fingers. Or you may want to kind of lift off the pinky and kind of make that an F sharp 7 chord. Or you could even kind of take the pinky and add it in on the B string fifth fret for an F sharp 7. Or a little bit, well, a non-bar chord, F sharp 7. We'll be doing first finger on the B string second, second finger on the G string third, and the third finger on the D string on the fourth fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that's another way you can play your F sharp 7. Or you can kind of fake an F sharp kind of sound with a D sus slash F sharp chord, where you could do first finger on the low E string second, second finger on the G string second, third finger on the B string third, and the pinky on the high E string third. So you could kind of fake that idea with kind of that B minor to the F sharp kind of idea, kind of just moving just the first finger. So if that appeals to you, that's cool, but it really kind of sounds like the B minor and the F sharp and the B minor and the F sharp, and they're kind of halving things there, so you could use just the down, down up when we hit those chords. And then we end on a B7 chord. And if you're digging on the bar B minor, you could just do the bar on second, third finger on the D string fourth, pinky on the B string on the fourth fret, and kind of get a B7 that way. Or root position B7, you could do first finger on the D string first fret, second finger on the A string second fret, third finger on the G string second fret, and the pinky on the high E second fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a B7 chord. Or you could even take the third finger and flatten them over the G, B, and E. And that's a little weird, but that sounds a B9 chord, which you can kind of throw in for that change. And then we kind of half a D7 to a G at the very end to lead back into kind of our main verse. Now the weird part is to play along with Fast Domino, though, instead of starting on a G major chord, it's actually starting on a B major chord. So to play along with the recording, what you want to do is take a capo, and if you put the capo on 4th fret, then now your G is really a B major, and your C is really an E major, and your D is really an F sharp major. And when we get to it, the B minor is really a D sharp minor, and the F sharp is really an A sharp major, and the B7 is really an E flat 7 or a D sharp 7. But to take it from the very beginning, you got kind of that G arpeggio that you can kind of kick it off with, and then kind of hit the ground running with that C chord. Or you can work your triplet feel, or you can even go back and forth between those, actually, which is kind of a cool idea. And then we got a big G hit, I found my, and then we go into a reverse part. And then we got our C, second verse. Now our second verse is this cool little tag where we do kind of a halving on the G with kind of a down, down, up, down, up, or a down, down, up on the G chord and on the D7, and then we do our whole pattern on the last G, so some of the chords don't last as long. So we tried our next verse chorus, we have this C, we got that G, G7, B minor, F sharp, B minor, F sharp, B7, thing I think about adding to the song though is bass notes, and a lot of times on that first down of the down, down, up, you could throw in a bass note for the chord. So on the C you'd have the A for the bass, on the G you'd have low E for the bass, on the D you'd have the D for the bass, and on the B minor we'd have the A for the bass, on the B7 we'd have the A for the bass, and on the F sharp bar you'd have the low E string for the bass, or if you're kind of doing that cheat with F sharp, E sus slash F sharp kind of idea, you can kind of work that for your bass. So the weird part is on that second verse, it kind of has that same turnaround where we're doing kind of that down, 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 up on that last G and D. But if you're adding basses to that, you can make it kind of a bass, down, up, and kind of lead it in that last G chord. So we tried our next verse with a bass, down, up, down, up. We'd have C with an A bass, C with an A bass, G with low E bass, G with low E bass, A with D bass. Our next bridge part. So we try our bridge with basses. You'd have G with low E bass, C with an A bass, G with low E bass, G7 low E bass, A minor with an A bass, F sharp, B minor, F sharp, B7, D, G, to lead into our last verse course. In our outro verse course, what you may want to do actually is you can take all these ideas that we've been kind of playing around with and kind of see what you can say with it, kind of mixing it up different ways. It might be kind of a cool thing to kind of see what you can say with the song too. But that's the basics of how you get strummed through Blueberry Hill by Fats Domino. So good luck!